welcome to another episode of Meet Houston. I am your host, Mika Diamond, and I am super excited about today's show. We have an amazing show in store for you. What is Meet Houston? Meet Houston is a show that brings exposure to everything that's happening within our city. We talk about businesses, we get a chance to interview those who are in the studio, as well as we are also able to give the opportunity for exposure for you. Not only that, but I get to talk about all the places that I have been, that I've had the pleasure of attending, as well as what's up and coming within our city. We talk about some Houston fun facts and everything that you would love to know what's happening right here in the city of Houston. So you guys make sure that you stay connected. Go to our Instagram page, Houston Public Access TV, or you can follow GMT Broadcasting Company. We would love to have you here in the studio or get us some exposure for your business or your event. This is what we're going to do today. We have some amazing people to talk to today, and I'm super excited about today's show. So make sure that you stay connected. Do not go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Meet Houston. I shared we have an amazing show today. We have two amazing ladies who are in the studio. I would love for them to introduce themselves to all of you who are watching.
Well, I'm Deirdre Dixon Gilbert, and I'm with the National Medical Malpractice Advocacy Association.
Okay.
And my name is Ethel Easter Dismute. I have a website on Facebook, Doctors Held Accountable, No More Silence.
Wow, and I can't wait to hear some of the silence that we talked about before. So tell us, what is National Medical Malpractice Advocacy Association?
Well, it's an entity that we created back in 2013 after the death of my daughter.
Okay.
And when we found that there was no other organization in the country that was for those that were being harmed or for the victims.
Mm-hmm.
And so we created an organization so that we could help them to, first of all, to cope with what they were going through. But then once we started listening to the stories and talking to people across the country, we realized that they needed more than just that. So this organization is the first nonprofit organization of its kind. Matter of fact, it's the only one of its kind across the country. And so basically we are there for those that have the victims.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much
Yes.
for being there for the victims. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have reached out to you along the way. So how long have you had this association?
Since 2013.
Okay.
2013. You know, first we were like all on Facebook and we were constantly talking and everybody was talking to each other. But I was like, you know, they really don't care about you being on Facebook.
Yes.
I said, we're going to have to do something different. So I created the nonprofit, and so we've been able to do a lot of different things and exciting things.
Absolutely.
Sad stories,
Yes.
but we have done a lot.
Would you
for
call it
the
a
community.
movement? Would you call it a movement?
We would call it a movement.
Okay.
Definitely a movement.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm sure, you know, you have so much to share, and I've seen some of the accolades that you've received as well, and some of the laws that have changed because of the things that you have done as well, and we're going to talk more about that. But we have another guest that's here today who has a really good story to share.
Absolutely.
And I want to make sure that all of those who are tuned in and who are watching, that you're able to share what you did in order to, I don't want to say cause havoc, but I know that they would love to know what happened because it's an amazing story. So please share.
Deirdre and I, we share the pain, as she said, as being a victim of medical malpractice. Back in 2015 is when I experienced it. I had a very arrogant doctor at LBJ that I didn't trust. I was caught between a rock and a hard place where I didn't have any other insurance, and I had this gold card, and I was very sick. So I decided to put a recorder in my head with my hair.
Yes.
So what a lot of people, they think, well, what's going on when I'm sleeping, and what are they saying and what are they doing? I have the proof of it, of what they're doing and what they're saying.
Okay.
And it's just devastating what has happened to me. And only by the grace of God, I'm still alive. You know, there's a lot of pain I share with Deidre because unfortunately her daughter didn't make it, but only by God's grace, I'm not one of the people that didn't make it. And so I have this Facebook website that says Doctors Being Held Accountable, No More Silence. And this is a platform for everyone to come on and tell their experience because no one's doing anything about it. So our voices need to be heard, and they need to know that there's other people who's feeling this pain and this has happened to. This is not some kind of isolated incident that's taking place here. And so the more we speak about it, the more we keep showing a constant pattern that's going on with these doctors that are getting off, the more the state, it'll go up to Congress and we can change the laws.
So let me ask you a question. So what happened that made you say, I need to put a recorder in my head, in my hair, in order to record what was going on?
Okay, so the first incident took place, so in March of 2015 is when I started having excruciating pain in my stomach.
Okay.
So at the time I had the gold card, and I would say I wanted a different type of gold card owner because I had a business at the time, but my business, it takes a couple years for it to prosper. So I had my gold card and I wanted to keep it once I did get my business after finishing school. And so I went into the doctors. They found out I was having 100 episodes within 24 hours.
Wow.
Which is a hiatal hernia, which they put a tube down my nose, had me take this machine home, and found out that's a lot.
Right.
So to the point where I had a bruise in the top of my stomach, there started being some bleeding, internal bleeding. And so when the head doctor came in, which was Dr. Mike Lane, he came inside and he said, well, we can't give you a surgery to 2 or 3 months from now. And so I started crying. I'm like, 2 or 3 months from now, I had to sleep sitting up. I was being strangled by the acid and everything that was going on in my body. So it wasn't like I was aggressive saying, you have to give me the surgery. I'm saying, I can't last 2 or 3 months. And so he was very arrogant. He says, well, you're going to have to last. Who do you think you are? I have other patients. That's, no bedside manners whatsoever.
So and that would be something that would make you say, okay, somebody else needs to listen to, somebody else needs to hear this.
Well, it goes on. There was no empathy, no sympathy, no bedside manners. So when I went to my regular doctor, within a week, he read some notes in the system. I had a attack in his office. He was concerned. So he read the notes. He says, oh, the doctor put in here that you were crying and you threatened to sue him to get an attorney. That never happened.
Wow.
So that's when the flags went up saying, this man is lying.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He's blatantly lying. And, I need this surgery.
Right.
What can I do about it to protect myself in case something happens to me? And my family have a way of knowing.
Wow. So you've received it, you recorded, did you have the surgery?
I had the surgery.
Okay.
And so I'm allergic to penicillin.
Okay.
So I stayed in the hospital about a day and a half. Then after the surgery, I started swelling up.
Wow.
So I went to the ER close to my home. They found out I was having an allergic reaction. I went back home. The next day, I couldn't breathe. I go back to the ER. My lungs were filled with fluid, and I couldn't see. What was happening is some veins had bust, leaky valves in the back of my eyes. To this day, I have monovision behind that surgery.
Wow. Okay.
So now I'm listening to the tape to see what's going on.
So you had this tape, you had this recording while you were having surgery? You couldn't have it while you were having surgery, right?
Oh, yes. It was in my hair.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was a little device like a flash drive that you put in a computer. I had some braids. I put my hair up in a ponytail. I put in a bobby pin, and I put it in my hair.
Oh, my goodness.
So everything, conversation was being taped.
And you recorded the whole conversation, and so you listened to the conversation after you had gone through, and so what happened after that?
So I listened to the conversation. The first thing he said when I went under was, oh, she threatened me, and you don't want to do that to a doctor that's doing your surgery. Then they went on to talk about my belly button. The anesthesiologist, this Cassandra Howe, and him went on to talk about my belly button and said, oh, I feel sorry for her husband. Then they went on, he told the anesthesiologist, she says, well, she's allergic to penicillin. He says, that was as a baby. That doesn't mean it's going to hurt her now. So they gave me Anseth, which that was a gamble with my life. Anytime somebody puts something up your veins that you're allergic to, it's only by the grace of God that you make it out alive.
Wow. So
I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
Then they were listening to they were talking on cell phones, which was unsanitary, over my body. Then the racial slurs started. Precious meet precious. Dr. Doyle was in there, and that was a background of the movie Precious, where it was an African-American woman who was raped by her father. And then now this is a recovery. This is going on about the Precious comments. So Cassandra Howe, which is a woman, anesthesiologist, she says, should I touch her? And then he says, I thought about touching her, but maybe we should just take pictures. And then another nurse says, well, you remember the Bill Cosby incident? This is all taking place over my body as I'm lying there asleep.
Wow. That is, and how many others are suffering because of things. I mean, it's so much that I would love to say, but I know we don't have all the time to discuss it. So let's fast forward. You are on a movement. You're in a movement. And so when you heard her story, Deirdre, what did you think? What did you say?
Well, that's the strangest thing, because she had reached out to me on Facebook.
Okay.
And I didn't respond because I had been getting a lot of response to, people on Facebook, and I was like a little leery, like, who is this really want to meet with me, because I was like, nah.
Yeah.
So she was very diligent in finding me,
Yeah.
and she says, I need to talk to you. So she and her dad met me at the Papados, actually across the way, and we talked.
Okay.
And so she, she was telling me about her story and what was going on, and so we connected with our stories. We had the same passion, wanting to make a movement,
right.
other than just talking about this stuff over and over again. Because as you know, we've talked about this on radio,
right.
and we've talked about it in Washington and in Austin. It's time now that we make movements,
right.
or make
right.
a movement
yes.
For change, because the stories that you heard, hers is not the
yes.
only type of story.
Yes.
The stories get egregious.
Right.
If you look on my Facebook page, you read the stories, right?
Right.
And it's sad that the things that we're reading, like we just read a story today about one of the doctors just 2 days ago, who purposely breast people, telling people they had breast cancer and making money off of these things, and these are things that we don't, that people are losing
right.
their lives,
right.
or losing limbs, you know what I'm saying, and going through unnecessary stuff because they feel like they want to make more money off the backs of people.
Wow.
So,
there's so many others who are suffering.
Yes,
there's so many others are suffering. We're going to go into a commercial break, and when we come back, I want you to share how is it that others can get in contact with you. Those who are questioning some things that's happening within the hospital. They may not think to get a recorder, but maybe after this episode, they'll think to get a recorder and listen to the conversations. I can only imagine what you thought when you were tuned in and listening to those conversations. But when we come back, we're going to be sure to make sure that everyone who is watching, that you get all of the information from these two ladies about how you can join the movement in helping those who are in hospital. Thank you.
Are you having child support issues? Are you going through a divorce? Are you going through a custody battle? I know that your family, children, and property are very important to you, and having to navigate through the legal system is probably one of the most difficult experiences you will have to encounter in your lifetime. Please call the Jones Law Firm at 713-222-0196. The Jones Law Firm is committed to helping you in your time of need. Call 713-222-0196 to schedule a consultation today.
Of Meet Houston. Man, if you have just now tuned in, you got to make sure that you stay connected to these amazing ladies. They have some stories that they're opening to share, but I just wanted to make sure that they got all of the information from you guys, because there are so many who are suffering and don't know what avenue to take. They don't know what they should do. So help them out and share. How can they get in contact with you, and then join the movement?
Yes. Well, again, we have the organization. The website is www.NMMAA.org.
Okay.
The National Medical Malpractice Advocacy Association, where you can find us there. Facebook, the same, the National Medical Malpractice Advocacy Association. There are tons and tons of groups that are on Facebook, stories after stories after stories. So that is the best way to contact us. If a person is actually going through something right now, we do have a mobile app, which is www.mobilemalpractice.com.
Awesome.
So we've created the mobile malpractice app so that people can come, or people can go online and send us pictures, send us the stories, and then what we do with that information is we disseminate that information out to attorneys that we think that can assist these people with their cases if that's necessary. Somebody may just want their medical records, which we'll help them work with that. But that is how they can reach us. One of the things I want to mention is to make sure that people know this is the third leading cause of death in America. that's saying something.
Yes.
That it's the third leading cause of death, and it's not something that we're making up, but it's something that is happening that's silent. We want people to know that this is a real issue that we need to start talking about and start doing something about, because the stigma or the story behind it was that doctors were leaving because they were having too many frivolous lawsuits. But the stories that we've discussed earlier and the stories that you will see, that's not frivolous. And so what they're selling you is, to me, a bag of wolf cookies. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what's really happening. There is no such thing as a frivolous lawsuit. We can't even, matter of fact, we can't even get these things in court. And so a lot of people are being harmed but can't get any justice. So this organization also created an organization, the Right to Justice. So we're going to be working with actually a university here, trying to push these cases that were legitimate but did not have the access to the courts. And hopefully we can go in and start looking at these cases just like they did with those cases where those people are being put in jail and then they use their DNA. Well, we don't have DNA, but what we can do is we can look into the cases to see whether or not they falsified documentation, whether the death certificates have been falsified, medical records, like putting things in their medical records that weren't true. And hopefully that we can get the justice that we deserve. This is not a movement to attack physicians, because there are some great physicians out there. However, they are bound by secrecy. And once they come out to speak, even the nurses, they're getting fired, or they're getting shunned, or they're losing their livelihood because the hospitals don't want them to talk about this stuff. And this, we're talking about life and death.
Yeah. Well, I commend both of you. I salute both of you and all of the families who have reached out to you that have been suffering from some type of malpractice. And you're doing an amazing job. And for those who want to dig in the trenches with you and walk along with you, alongside you, and some of the things that you guys have already done, the things that you're continuing to do and moving forward, we just want to make sure that they keep in contact with you, because I haven't had an incident with malpractice, but I don't know. I could have. And you just never know when that will knock on your door, and that will happen to you and your family members. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Meet Houston. We will make sure that we stay connected to you so we can make sure that we do whatever is necessary to join you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back. We have some other amazing guests that's going to be here today. It's been an amazing show already, so make sure that you stay connected. We have the cast of Love by Chance that will be up next. We'll be right back. February. It is Love Month all over the country, and we have some cast in the studio with us today. We have an amazing play right here in the city of Houston that's happening on Lovers Lane weekend in about a week, and we get a chance to talk to some of the cast. So introduce yourself to Meet Houston.
Hi Houston, my name is Ashley Forestier, and I play Gabrielle Dupree.
How you doing? My name is Benny Andrews, and I play Chance.
Chance. The play is called Love by Chance.
Love by Chance.
So let's talk about that, Chance. Tell us a little bit about the play.
Well, this play was written by Leah Pride, and her definition of the play is just second chances.
Second chances.
Second chances. Chance is a character. He's to me, he's a guy that society doesn't shed a lot of light on.
Okay.
He's a guy who's courageous enough to rebuild his life,
Okay.
and he's in the process of rebuilding his life, but his past just continues to haunt him.
And how often does that happen with our past continuing to haunt us?
Exactly.
We always want to see the old us,
You know, and
not
can't
the
see the
new
new.
us, right?
You know?
Right. So you played Gabrielle.
Yes.
So let's talk about Gabrielle. Let's talk about this character.
So Gabrielle is a fresh start for
Mhm,
Chance. He's not used to a woman like Gabrielle.
Oh,
she
wow.
is a successful woman in her own right, trying to get things going. And the thing is, though, even though she's successful, Chance is a person that adds to her. You know, he sees her vision and he actually propels her forward
Okay.
in a sense, you know. So it's really about second chances for her too, because you know she is the type of person that she wants to do stuff. She, you know, she has her past,
Right.
but now she's trying to start a future
Right.
with a wonderful guy, and she's just really, her dilemma is learning things. You know how
Okay.
women do. We get into these things. We meet these guys. They look so cute. You meet the rep. You know, you meet the rep, and then you start peeling back those
Yeah.
layers. You know, and then having to confront that and realize you're not perfect yourself. So,
What I love about second chances, that can apply to everything
Yes.
in life, not just in a relationship, but it applies to a lot. So if you understand second chances, and you'll get by with a lot of different things that you just kind of sweep up underneath the rug,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right. So you also have Mr. Jolivet, who's in the play as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Who does he play?
Oh my goodness, that's my brother. He plays almost like a father figure, but you know that shoulder that you need to lean on. He's my
Okay.
brother. He's a good friend of mine. He plays that role of Alex.
Okay.
in this play.
Okay,
very
Alex.
resourceful.
Yes,
Very
Type
yes,
of
yes.
person, always get you out of trouble.
Is he stern?
Very stern.
Very stern. Very
You know,
stern.
Yes,
I
need
just
it.
can't wait for those like myself to be able to witness the play. So what would you guys say that you want everybody to get? How do you want them to feel once they leave from watching the play?
Actually, really, because it is centered around second chances, I want people to really pay attention to that. It's not just about your second chance.
Ah. Okay.
Sometimes you have to extend that mercy, that grace to other people, because you can see it in yourself.
Yes.
But a lot of times you start to judge people, and you get to the point where it's like, oh well, your second chance doesn't matter because of what you did. You're that person, you know.
It happens all the time.
All the time, but you have to, you know, have that mirror, not for yourself, but for other people. You have to extend that to others as well. So that's something that I think that, you know.
And that's good. I mean, that's relatable.
Exactly.
It's relatable for
Yes.
those to be able to feel
Yes.
what will take place on next Saturday.
Yes. And
So-
also, don't listen to everybody, because a lot of times you can be surrounded by people that can give you bad advice.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Talk
you can
about
miss your blessing.
Talk
Yeah.
Talk about
You gotta
it.
get out the
Talk about
way.
it.
And everybody else gotta get out the way too, right?
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
So the play happens on next Saturday.
Yes.
It's in our great city of Houston.
H-Town.
So where is the play gonna be?
Stafford Civic Center.
Okay.
Yes, we have two shows. First one starts at 3 o'clock,
Okay.
and the second one is at 7:30 on February 15th.
February the 15th. So
Yes.
that is
Yes.
Lovers Lane
Yes.
weekend.
Yes.
It is. Or they do say what the 15th is the side piece
Ooh.
day, right?
I mean, you
so
know,
I'm just
you're
saying.
trying to get it together, you know.
Now
come
don't
on
be
it.
taking
No.
the side. Well, listen, everybody.
Yeah,
You can
take all
take
your
the main piece,
All of
the
it.
side.
Take your main to the 3 o'clock, take the side to
You
the
know,
7:30.
act like you ain't never
whatever
seen
you
it.
want to do.
That's a chance conversation right there.
Hey,
huh?
you know.
See, second chances. You go revert back to the old you.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't want to, put it out there.
But I am so excited. Thank you guys so much for being in the studio.
Oh, yeah,
What would you
definitely.
say to the playwright? What would you say to her?
She is amazing. First of all,
Absolutely
Leah
amazing.
needs to be on somebody's TV, somebody's big screen,
It's
because she
coming.
is phenomenal.
It's coming.
When it comes to directing, capturing feelings of certain people, she has this innate ability to just bring everything to life. When you
Yeah.
read it, you're just like, I want to do it.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? She's
Yeah.
extremely talented.
That's awesome. So shout out to you, Miss Leah.
Leah
And
Pride.
then there are some other cast members.
Yes.
And I know that you guys appreciate your cast members, your
Yeah.
castmates. So what would you like to say to your castmates?
I appreciate you guys so much. I mean, like I said, I've been in a lot of stage plays before, movies as well, but this cast is amazing. It's full of juggernauts.
Yes.
If I can say that to the least, it's filled with juggernauts. These people are awesome, completely awesome.
Yes,
That's
and
awesome.
Their dedication, you know,
yes.
they're strictly professional. They know their lines. They're there. They're clowning around. They make it fun. It does not
Yeah.
feel like work. And I
Exactly.
really hope that translates
Yeah.
when people are watching, that they see the amount of effort and hard work that we've all put in.
Yes.
But our castmates are phenomenal. Y'all are
Awesome.
ones who love this
Absolutely.
play.
That's
Love
awesome.
it.
And when you see a vision come to life in characters,
Wow.
when it comes off the paper and
Yes.
you're actually there and you can feel the emotion
Yes.
in each cast, it's amazing. So I'm super excited about next Saturday. Listen, go out and purchase your tickets for
Now.
this stage play for next
Yes.
Saturday, February the 15th, right here in the city of Houston. Or if you're in surrounding areas, come out and enjoy the atmosphere of love at the stage play, Love by Chance. So tell them where they can get their tickets from.
www.this-rock.com. You can get your tickets. There's VIP sections as well if you want to sit up in the front being part.
You know, bougie.
You know. But yeah, www.this-rock.com, and the waters came over.
Right, real quick.
It's all good.
And also too, they might, want to get these tickets sooner than later because the price is different at the door. It goes up because it's a hot commodity
You
for the
know,
show.
mhm.
You know.
As you can see, they are full of energy. I love the cast, and I know that the play is going to be absolutely amazing. So shout out to everyone who has already purchased tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to everyone who is watching another episode of Meet Houston. This is the show to give you all of the scoop what's happening right here in our city, but you can view it all across the world. So make sure that you stay connected. Join us on Facebook as well as Instagram, and keep up what's happening right here in our city of Houston. We'll catch you next week on another episode. See you next week.